Hello guys, my name is Khushi. Welcome back my YouTube channel. Let's learn English with Khushi. Today we are going to read this book, Truth Without Apology by Acharya Prasant, and this is the last video of this book, and we are going to read about the author. We live in a time when lies are solved with a charm and vagueness, passed off as a wisdom and entertainment, as a spirituality. Though material empowered, we are inwardly more fractured than ever. Popular culture offers optimism, success, and fulfillment, yet quietly leaves behind fatigue and confusions. The deeper questions: who am I? Why do I really want? Why does suffering persist? Remain buried under noise, opinion, and false comfort. The result: personal, social, and global crisis of a scale never before seen. Acharya Prasant speaks directly to these conditions. He doesn't decorate the disease, he diagnoses and exposes it. His teachings hold up a mirror to the mind, relentlessly rational, deeply compassionate, and sharply original. He brings ferocious clarity to modern life, not as a theory or mystical escape, but as a rational dismantling of the false structures we live by. For over a decade, he has engaged with real life questions on love, fear, ambition, suffering, and ego through thousands of talks, books, interviews, and retreat. His style is unsentimental and preachy, yet full of quiet compassion. He does not treat in hope, but offers insight. He does not promote belief, but calls for intelligence through the Prashant Advait Foundation. He has revived interest in over 70s classics Indic spiritual texts, including the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Astavaktra Gita. His books, courses, and public engagement attracts seekers across all age groups, professions, and walks of life. His digital presence now forms the world's largest repositories of wisdom literature. Today, he is the most followed wisdom teacher in the world, with an influence growing across generations and geographies. Recognized for his impact, he has been honored by the IIT Delhi Alumnium Association for outstanding contributions to national development, by PETA as the most influential Veggie, and by the Green Society of India as the most impactful environmentalist. His path has not been easy. He has spoken without fear, and the world has often responded with silence, hostilities, or distortions rooted in clarity rather than comfort. His teachings have unsettled both religious traditionalists and modern conform conformists. The media ignored him, institutions withheld reconciliations, platforms censored him, ritualistic accused him of blaspheming, academics dismissed him. He has been misquoted, attacked, shadow banned, and deliberately excluded from space that claimed to become welcome wisdom. He stood alone without lineage, endorsement, or shelter from the storm. He refused to soften his words for approval. He never aligned with the power. Quoted no popularity, played to no glory. For years he spoke in silence, to silence, not because he could not have drawn an audience, but because the truth could not be diluted. That he is heard today is the outcome of tireless labor and unshakable inner fire, and a message the world could not ignore. If his voice now reaches millions, it is not because the system supported it, but because the system could not stop it. Unaffiliated with any lineage or sites, he speaks from direct realizations, not inherited belief. This rational independency makes his voice both fearlessly originally and spirituality honest, free from the weight of traditions and the need for conforming. In an age of noise and spectacle, he has chosen the hard path of clarity. That is why he is not easily celebrated. He neither flatters traditions nor panders to trends, but his teachings scripturally grounded yet from of dogma rationally yet spirituality is fiercely marked a turning point in the history of wisdom. In him meet the honesty of Buddha, the depth of Vedanta, and the immediacies of the digital world without compromise. As the noise of the presence fades, his words will remain long after contemporary names are forgotten. His voice will save how the sincere self approaches truth. His legacy won't be counted in fame, but in the transformations he ignites across generations. If the 21st century is remembered for one voice of truth, it will be his. A brief biography, early life and education. Prashant Tripathi was born on the Mahashivratri of 1978 in Agra, India. As a child, he stood out for his depth of attention and appetite for knowledge. He topped the ICSE board exams and was an anti-SE scholar. Yet his real education began beyond the classroom through the unrestrained reading, self inquiry, and silent observations with support from his father as well. Read bureaucratic, he explored books of every kind, laying the groundwork for a mind that would caution everything. In school and college, he emerged as a champion speaker, actor, and poet, respected for his command of both Hindi and English. He won nationally debates, directed acclaimed plays and led intellectually vibrant cultures perfumes, yet even in the midst of success he felt deeply out of place. The celebrations of intellect without depth, ambitions without meaning left him restless. He felt inwardly strangled in institutions others idolized. He graduated from IIT Delhi and later from IIM Ahmedabad, holding the rare distinctions of clearly both CAT and UPSC in the same year. Even so, the world of conventional career never held his interest for long. During his 3 year cooperated stint, he began using his weekend to teach leaderships through wisdom literature. This initiative became the seeds of a much larger movement. Advent Life Education and HIDP. He soon founded Advent Life Education, a pioneering initiative focused on self awareness in education. It's a flagship program, the Holistic Individuals Development Program, reached over 50,000 students across more than 50 institutions. Personally designed and led by him, HIDP became a structured yet dynamic experiment in bringing spiritual insights into mainstream education. Its early success revealed what becomes possible when young minds are met with honesty, depth, and challenges that turn within. In 2008, at age 30, he began decisively stepping away from institutions' obligations to devote himself fully to the fundamental cautions of human suffering and self-ignorance. What began as a campus dialogue soon expanded into the immersive sessions, retreats, and seminars. In 2011, he started conducting self-awareness camps in the Himalayas, intimated gathering that continued to draw seekers from India and abroad based on rigorous scriptures study and inner work. These camps marked the beginning of his direct engagement with serious spiritual aspirants. His departure from the world was not merely professional, it was existentially renouncing ambitions, comfort, and cognition. He chose inner discipline and silence. It is from this ground that his teachings arise. Global reach and digital impact. Following his revival of over 70 classical spiritual texts through the Prasant Foundation, Acharya Prasant has continued to engage deeply with text across time and traditions. He draws freely from diverse sources from the Sermon on the Mount and the Tao Te Ching to Buddhist sutras, Sufi poetry, Jain koans, and the verses at Kabir Sahib, whom he reverses as one of the clearest and highest spiritual voices in history. He often speaks on the writings of Campus and Kierkegaard, not to agree or oppose, but as a spiritual examiner of essentially uncases his fondness for absurdist theatre, Beckett, and the Ionesco, as well as Kafka, reflects his insight into the mind's desperate search for meaning. Yet, unlike despairing philosophers, he uses these voices to deepen, not dissolve, the movement towards liberation. As a poet himself, his language carries clarity wrapped in rhythm, austerities steeped in grace. His teachings now from the world's largest digital archive of living wisdom, with over 30,000 freely available videos and articles viewed more than 4.8 million times. He has authored over 160 books in Hindi and English, covering topics from self-awareness to society, scripture to science. His presence, now over 18 million followers, makes him the most followed wisdom teacher in the world. His Bhagavad Gita learning program has grossed students. In June 2014, he conducted the world's largest Gita exam. Broader initiative. Beyond the personal growth, Acharya Prasant has brought rare clarity and courage to urgent global concerns: climate change, animal rights, women's empowerment, and the eradications of superstitions. For him, social reform is a necessary outcome of inner individual clarity. In a world that spiritualizes consumptions and ritualized cruelty, he has spoken with unmatched precious. He has exposed the hollowness of token environmentalism, arguing that the real climate crisis is one of the human greed and ego. In 2025, he launched Operation 2030, a monumental campaign to confront the climate crisis not as a technical or political issue but as a call to inner clarity, advocating deep change in how individuals live, how institutions function, and how society defines progress. He has relentlessly challenged meat consumption and religious animal slaughter, calling them acts of unconsciousness disguised as a culture. His voice for animal liberation has reached millions, making him one of the most influential veggie figures globally. On the question of women, he has called out the patriarchy mind, whether in domestic obedience, religious rules, or myths of divine feminine used to keep women docile. His message liberation begins not with imitations or defiance, but with awakening intelligence. He has also launched a campaign against superstitions, fake gurus, and blind faith, urging people to caution, think, and walk free of inherited beliefs. His lessons and videos continues to seek culture assumptions, reaching those seeking not political slogan but true freedom. All this while continuing to meet thousands through public events, in-depth interviews, and rigorous online dialogues. Each space and invitations to see through illusion and step into clarity. In essence, Acharya Prasant life stands as a rare embodiment of reluctance, clarity, and total dedication to truth. For those seeking not comfort but real change, his presence offers not just answer but a radical shift in how life is seen and lived. Again, that's all in this video. So I have completed in this book in audio form. So please go and must watch. Yeah, and enjoy this book. Thank you so much.